So here I've redrawn our number line, and for each region I've picked out a value to test to see whether or not it satisfies our inequality. First, let's test x equals negative 11. Now you might think that we need to actually plug negative 11 in and find out all the numbers here, but all we really care about is the sign of this entire expression. We just want to know whether or not it's positive. So what I'm going to do is just think about whether or not each of the factors here, we have 3 of them, is positive or negative. And then of course I also need to take into account the negative sign that's on the outside. So I'll write that one first. We have a negative sign on the outside. If I plug in negative 11 here, negative 11 plus 10 is a negative number. So we have negative and negative in the numerator. And then in the denominator, we have a negative number for this factor and a negative number for this factor. 4 negatives multiplied or divided together gives us a positive number. So this region works. Now let's do the same thing for negative 5. In going through the same sorts of steps for the next 3, it turns out that only this region, the first one we found, and the area between negative 2 and 2 yield positive solutions. Let's check the 3 critical values this way also. Notice that when we plug in negative 10, we end up with 0 for the numerator. That means that this entire fraction can never be greater than 0, so negative 10 is not part of our solution set. Negative 2 and positive 2 each make the expression on the left-hand side contain a division by 0, so these cannot be part of our solution set either. Great, so we have these 2 intervals to take into account. We have the interval negative infinity to negative 10 united with the interval negative 2 to 2. Awesome, that's our solution. Great job with some really tough work on quadratic inequalities and rational inequalities. I know there are a lot of steps in all these problems, but I hope you've developed a little bit of independence in figuring out how to solve these kinds of inequalities. They're pretty cool too. I'm going to do one more quick thing and show you graphically what this inequality might look like.